Obviously, we're all familiar with apps, and currently we have centralization of power in all of the systems, but that also applies to the internet. So we've got apps being centralized, and they rely on servers, and so Holochain is an effort to decentralize that. And what I'm doing with the Holoweb is very complementary to that, but the focus is different. And the main difference is that the Holoweb isn't a specific network, it's network agnostic. So the Holoweb could be thought of as a layer on top of Holochain. So it can use Holochain, but it could also use other systems of storage. And there's a different concept of applications within the Holoweb too. So what is it? The Holoweb has two definitions. One is that it's a global data structure of Holowebs, and the Holoweb is a data structure. A Holoweb is a data structure. The Holoweb is a data structure of all Holowebs. And then the other definition is a communication system like a new web, so like beyond Web 2.0. And one of the other differences to Holochain is that the Holoweb includes an explicit data structure, which has been inspired by my academic research and the way the brain is structured. So in Holochain, the entries just can be anything. But in the Holoweb, each entry, if you like, each thing that's communicated is always a node or a holon. And see, it's so much easier to describe when I've got images, because it's quite abstract. All of the nature of this is all abstract. But basically, what the Holoweb does is it separates the data from the interface very strongly, and allows you to switch the interface and look at data from many perspectives. So you're not locked into one way of looking at things, because currently companies determine how we look at our data. And that's partly because the data is locked into servers and we don't have sovereignty of data. So with the Holoweb, everyone will store their own data, like Holochain, and that data is structured in a new way. It's not two-dimensional data, it's multi-dimensional, it's neurally inspired data structures. And then we have an interface layer on top of that where we can look at that data from many perspectives at once. And in the Holoweb, anything can be linked to any other thing, not just linking to a document or a file like we have on the current web, but you can link to literally anything you can name in your reality, because you can map that as a node, you see. So I actually have 10 minutes, don't I? So let me just see. Is everyone following me so far? I know that's okay. I see some thumbs up there.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just gonna try something. Yeah, it seems when I share my screen, everything crashes. So I'm not going to do that. But so the word holon means a whole and a part, and but I also use that word to mean an object of perception. So to me, it's like a semantic object. It's a perceptual object. It's not just a an arbitrary thing, but it means whole and a part, something that's a whole and a part at the same time, which creates this fractal structure. So a thing containing a thing containing a thing. The thing contains all the includes the things inside it, and it's also a whole of a larger whole. So part of a larger whole, sorry. So yeah, so sorry, I'm just looking at my slides because so what I'm doing, Holoweb, is an abbreviation of Holonic web. It's applying Holonic technology to the web, and it relates to the semantic web, obviously, and the decentralized web. And the actual design of what I'm doing is quite similar to Holochain, but it's network agnostic. So you have something that looks a bit like a Holochain, in that there's a sort of immutable center, And then you have multiple blockchains coming off of that immutable center. And the immutable center defines what I'm describing now is a Holoweb, basically. So a Holoweb has this immutable center that doesn't change, that contains a Holoweb DNA, which is actually nodes. It's not code. It's actually these semantic nodes or holons. So I made that design choice because I would like to be able to create new Holowebs very easily without writing code. I'd like people to be able to do that. And you can think of a Holoweb as a conversation, but it's a well-formed conversation with a purpose. It's a explicitly meaningful conversation with an explicit purpose. So you define an intention or purpose, and you define an ontology, which is the types of things that can exist in that reality, in that conversation. So ontology is like the definition of what exists. So like if you're doing like lift sharing, for example, say you have a lift sharing app, it's like you're having a conversation about cars, passengers, drivers, journeys, location, start time, end time. That's the ontology. So you'd have a car holon, and inside that you'd have a passenger and a driver, and there would be 1 to 4 passengers, exactly 1 driver. There would be exactly 1 origin point, exactly 1 destination in a journey holon. So you see, you start to build up these semantic structures, and that's the ontology, which is fixed, and it's like DNA that goes into the Holoweb. And then that remains fixed, and then you have blockchains coming off. And blockchain here isn't mining and monolithic consensus style blockchain. This kind of blockchain is the way Holochain have been using it, and Scuttlebutt. And Scuttlebutt is the other project I've been massively inspired by. And so if you like, if Holochain is this and Scuttlebutt's this, Holoweb is sort of a bit like the Vesica Pisces that connects those two. The design's been influenced by both, and it's all open source, everything I'm doing. So parts of what I'm creating could be integrated back into those projects as well. And I think that I just want to publish everything I have and build a prototype, and then we can see how it integrates with these other projects. And but I also don't want to be dependent on either of them. So I will be building a networking stack with WebRTC, which is a real-time peer-to-peer technology built into the current web, because that's a sort of low-hanging fruit. So I'll be doing that, and it will also, I'll also be building a networking stack component that enables it to work over local area networks. And there'll be a Holoweb browser and an app called HoloCore, which is storing all the data, all the nodes, all the holons, all the Holowebs, and it's all encrypted, and you decrypt it with a QR code key. So all of this I've explained in my video, and I'm currently in my crowdfunding video, and I'm currently crowdfunding like right now, only for the next like 20 days-ish. It's going to finish on the 18th. And I've actually really struggled to get it out there because Facebook is a nightmare. And so if anyone can help me with that, I'd really appreciate it. If anyone can help get the link out there, and also to make a donation. And the address for that is crowdfunder.co.uk/Holoweb. Or you can just go to my website, larcombe.io, and then I've linked to the crowdfunding from there. You can see the countdown of how many days left. And basically I'm offering about a maximum of about 1,000 access packs, which include a physical component, which I'm going to post to people. So I'm posting people these holographic, I've got one upstairs, I haven't got it here, but it's a like holographic plastic card with a QR code, and people can print their own QR code, or I can print it for them on an offline machine. And then they also get an access token with this pack that lets them access the server that connects them to other peers. So when this scales up, it's going to be like turning the web inside out. So all the servers become just brokers that connect peers to each other until we have enough devices that are sort of permanently connected, like Raspberry Pi Zeros. I've been looking at those, these like tiny little $5 computers, and you can just plug them into a router, and then say everyone has them or one per household, then those are permanently online. So you don't need these broker servers anymore. So it's, and that's just different network topologies. So and just see what else I can talk about quickly. Yeah, it's kind of a shame really that that I couldn't give this presentation, but I will record it. Actually, I'll probably just record it after this call, and then I'll send the video to the organizers, and hopefully they can put the video in place of this call. So this will just be like live, and so yeah, Mark, do you want to ask any questions about what I've said, or I'm just curious if
it's so good to see you. Just so good to see you out and about and releasing stuff, Chris. Been waiting quite a while, and hopefully we can chat again soon.
Yes, yeah, I've actually been wanting to get in touch with you. It's been so hectic recently, and I'm like in this mega transition right now. So yeah, but I'm excited about the progress that I'm making, and I did publish recently a presentation on Holoform, called it Holoform, which is the Holonic web data structure, which is this sort of brain-like data structure where there are like 4 fundamental types of nodes: set, list, atom, and link. And the set and the list provide intrinsic links between things, and the link object provides extrinsic links. And I think it's quite an interesting data structure. And then you can have different types of node, like a car node, a driver node, but then like the car node could be a set. So it's like you have these, just a second. So you can build up, in NewMap, which has now been renamed to HoloMap, you could put holons inside holons and put them in many places at once, but they weren't sort of like, the constraints on that weren't very sophisticated. The only limitation was you could create a limited set of types within a type, but that was very basic. But whereas in the new version of HoloMap on the Holoweb, you'll be able to create much more sophisticated, complex structures that are more constrained, but that constraint is what creates the structure. That makes it so, like, yeah, it's kind of a bit abstract, but like I'm hoping to get this up and running in a few months. So
will that take the place of the Synergy engine, so to speak?
Yeah, the Synergy engine, I think, is more of a socioeconomic algorithm that you can apply to a large amount of data, and I think that you could definitely run the Synergy engine on the Holoweb, and the Holoweb can help us aggregate, a huge amount of information in one place, in very, very high quality information that can be machine processable. That is like aligned with algorithms like Synergy engine but it's like there's a specific ontology that's linked to, which is what I call the ontology of universal co-creation. So like vision, passion, desire, intention, skill, action, resource. Once you map those things, that's the ontology you would be mapping with to then use the Synergy engine and start connecting people in intelligent ways, if they're resonating on intentions, desires. I just want to check, is the next speaker here? Because I don't want to take their time. Otherwise, I'll just keep talking. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I should start now.
Okay. Yep. Okay. I'll be going then. All right. Thank you.
Oh,